Hey, what's going on, Day Day? I'm actually curious to know, have you gotten any advice, just from, your former coach Tom Izzo on how to approach, this go around with Team USA?
We talked a little bit about it, but more so just about it, enjoying the experience. This you get these once in a lifetime experience, and it's essentially a 2.5 week thing, and it flies by. So really, just enjoying the experience and making the most out of it.
Next up, Grady Diaz, go ahead, and then we'll go to Tyler Boronowski.
Hey, Draymond, you're now a two-time Olympian. What was it like being a part of the opening ceremonies again?
It's always incredible, but it was different this time around. When it's a little different feeling than walking in Rio in the opening ceremonies and in front of tens of thousands of fans. That was a different feel. Nonetheless, still get those same goosebumps. Participating in the open ceremony, seeing all the other teams, all the other countries, being in that huge group of USA athletes, huge, but in the grand scheme of things, very small. That's just always an incredible feeling. Walking through the village, kind of experiencing that life a little bit. It's a special thing. So different in the sense of, no fans there, which is something that unfortunately all of us kind of gotten used to over the course of the last year and a half. But, still a little bit of the same and those goosebumps that you get representing your country for the first time on that Olympic stage.
And how much fun are you having despite all the protocols in place?
A lot of fun. It's a once in a lifetime experience. I always say anytime you get the opportunity to be around the type of talent that, I'm able to be around, on our team, the women's team, and the beat goes on, with all the other athletes. It's a special moment. It's funny because I was talking to one of the guys over there at the village who played baseball, and he's like, man, everyone here are alphas, because everyone is great at their thing. No one got to this moment where you're getting ready to walk in the open ceremony and you're not great at whatever your thing is that you're doing. So, that's just a really special thing.
And my last question is, whose idea was it to sing Happy Birthday to KD?
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Tyler, you're up, and then we'll go to Fargo Franklin.
Hey, Draymond, just curious, what do you think is the biggest challenge that France presents you guys?
The one thing that we can never overcome or that we can never ignore is their experience. We can definitely overcome it because we can't win. But their experience in playing together, a lot of these teams have been playing together for 5-10 years, and the consistency, the continuity that they have in their offense, the familiarity that they have amongst each other. That's the one thing that we can never substitute for. And saying that, we always feel that we're the best in the world, and we like to go out and try to prove that. They play with great pace. They have tremendous size, but I still think the challenges that we can pose, no one else in the world can pose those same challenges. So, we're looking forward to that matchup.
Next up will be Fargo Franklin, and then we'll go to Mike Finger.
Hey, Draymond, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. What does it mean to you to see journeymen like PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday win a ring?
I wouldn't call Drew Holiday a journeyman. A guy who's in his 12th or 13th season on his third team. I wouldn't necessarily call him a journeyman. PJ Tucker, who's in his, 10th or 11th season. On his, I'm not sure how many different teams PJ played for early in his career, but I know in this second stint in the NBA, spent a good amount of time with Phoenix, a good amount of time with Houston. I think he was, maybe with, Toronto 1 year, and then got the opportunity to play with the Bucks. I think it's special to see those guys win an NBA championship. I know the feeling, and it's a feeling like no other. So to see those guys experience that, you have an appreciation for it, and also gratitude. Just excited to see those guys live out for most of us what is a lifelong dream, and winning an NBA championship. So it's one of those things you sit there and watch it, and you still get chills. And if you don't, it's funny because we were all sitting downstairs watching that last game, and I was telling young KJ, I said, KJ, if you don't get chills watching this, you're in the wrong sport, brother. Like, it's a different experience. It's a different thing. And so, it's always special.
And my second question is, we see a sprinkle of more minority and women coaches being recognized on a national level. What does it mean to you to see a little more diversity in the league?
It's great. I think it's long overdue. It's not something I'm jumping off the wall about because they are positions that were well earned. I'm not shocked that Willie Green deserves an opportunity. So I think, we're finally seeing people get, our people especially get their due. But because we're finally seeing, people make the right decision and seeing people really give these coaches the opportunities that they deserve, it's not something that I'm bouncing off the wall about because it's something that is well deserved and it's long overdue.
Thank you.
Mike Finger, you're up, and then we'll go to Brian Windhorst.
Hey, Draymond, as a guy who presumably had one certain impression from the outside of Pop and competing against him for so many years, have you been surprised at all by him, anything you've seen from him in the past couple of weeks, and kind of how has your impression of him changed in playing for him?
I don't think my impression has changed much. He is as serious as you think he is. And if you knew a little bit about him at all, he jokes as much as you think he jokes, and so I think it's kind of that balance, extremely smart coach, a guy that I've been learning from, and I'm sure everyone else who's here has been learning from. So I wouldn't say it's much of a difference than what I thought. I had the opportunity, I think, to play my first All-Star game, if I'm not mistaken, for Pop. Maybe it was my first All-Star game, maybe not, but it was one of them. And he is that guy who, like I said, it's that balance of extremely serious when he needs to be serious and joking all the time when it's time to joke.
When y'all lost those 2 games in Vegas, what was his reaction? Now, obviously they're exhibition games, but how did he treat you guys?
His reaction was, this is good for us. Obviously we don't want to lose, but we'd rather this happen now, than playing some teams that we're just going to completely destroy and then get over to Tokyo and play France the first game and realize we're not as good as we thought we were. So as much as it sucks to lose, those 2 losses only helped us. They didn't hurt us one bit. If anything, maybe you lost a little bit of the fear that, we've had in people's hearts for years, which you go out and do what you got to do and you can get that right back.
Thank you, sir.
Draymond.
And then we'll go to Tim Reynolds.
Hey, Draymond. This is a really bizarre situation with these guys coming in and less than 24 hours going to play. What do you expect their role to be tomorrow?
Well, I think you can't expect their role to be too big because you got guys coming off a 13-hour flight, which will in turn probably turn into a 19, 20-hour travel day with very minimal rest, with very minimal practice time. But in saying that, you're talking about three true professionals, three extremely competitive guys that wouldn't be on their way here if this didn't mean something. They all just finished competing in the NBA Finals, just finished completing an NBA season about 48 hours ago or 72 hours ago, and they're on their way here to help us compete for a gold medal. So saying that, it's not ideal, but I have a lot of respect for those guys for not only committing to do this, but actually keeping their word. We could have very easily got to, when was the last game? Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the game was, and Devin Booker saying, "Man, we lost. I'm pissed off. I'm out." Or Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday saying, "Man, we just won a championship. I want to celebrate. I want to stay home with my family. I'm out." Have tremendous amount of respect for those guys for seeing it through, seeing their commitment through, and it's on us to make sure that we do our parts in making sure that they are rewarded with what they ultimately came here for, which is to help us compete and win a gold medal.
I know those guys said before the finals, during the finals, that they were committed, but you've been there. Was there some surprise amongst you guys that they actually all got on the plane last night and were on their way over there? I mean, that it actually did happen?
I wouldn't necessarily say surprise because at the point that it's a surprise, you're doubting those guys' character. And I don't think neither one of those three guys has given anyone any reason to doubt their character, to doubt their competitive nature, to doubt who they are as men. And so to say you're surprised, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm surprised because they are who they are, but it is still very impressive.
Did you guys, one more, I'm sorry. Did you guys were you guys, as you were watching, talking about man, can they do this? I'm just trying to get a gauge of what the inner team dynamic was, because I know that what a finals does and what it feels like when it's over, win or lose.
We definitely discussed at some point, man, who you think gonna drop out? And everyone said, nobody. I think that was a consensus amongst our entire group. There's always that elephant in the room of yo, you think somebody gonna drop out? But one thing I can say is that I can't recall anyone saying, yep, I think that guy's going to drop out. I can't recall not one person thinking one of those guys would. And that's a testament to who they are as men, who they are as basketball players, who they are as competitors.
Thank you.
Tim Reynolds, go ahead, and then Gary Washburn, you're up next.
Thanks, Craig. Hey, Draymond. There was 207 nations that marched last night, and most of it was done alphabetically, but somehow the United States of America was right in front of France as you guys walked in. Did you see any of their guys? Was it awkward? Did you talk to them at all? I guess, was there any interaction?
There were a couple chants, USA chants, them chanting their thing. Yeah, we saw their guys. There wasn't much interaction. It's not really much to interact about. They're taking in the opportunity to participate in the Olympic ceremonies, opening ceremonies, and we're doing the same thing. We don't have much to talk to France about. when we're there amongst hundreds of Americans, maybe thousands. I'm not sure how many it was. I know it's a lot. Enjoying our experience, enjoy being Americans, enjoying the opportunity to kick off, going to support, going to compete for our country. So, no, there wasn't much to talk about. And no, we did not talk to them. We talked to each other because that's what that's about. Sharing those moments with other Americans, not having discussions with someone who's trying to take what we're going for. It's not, there's plenty of time for that. That time wasn't last night. How did we end up in front of them? I don't know. Quite frankly, I really don't give a damn.
You were asked also about one of the other moments from last night. Of course, the happy birthday. I know you won't give up the details, Evan, from your first answer. You could see from KD's face, though, that he might not have really enjoyed that moment so much. Do you fear any retribution from KD at all about after that?
KD is KD. He's always doing something and plotting anyway. That's just who KD is. Always talking shit, as he's been doing this entire time. So, do I fear retribution? I don't know. I think that would require him getting back at me for something I did, and I'm not sure that I did something. So, we'll see.
Thank you, Draymond.
Gary Washburn, you're up, and then Joe Barton.
Hey, Draymond. You were a talker on the floor, whether it's to yourself, to your teammates, to other players, or to the officials. In FIBA games, are the officials, do they know that? Are you saying, hey, man, I'm not trying, because you're not trying to get ejected, and it's a little different because NBA officials know who you are. They know your rep. In FIBA, do you kind of have to explain that or talk to them before the game to get that straight?
No, I just don't really say much to them at all. I didn't say much to them in Vegas. It's not really much to say. Quite frankly, some of them may not even speak the same language as me. And so to waste my time, and not waste my time as in they are human beings, right? Like, still going to treat them as, with the same respect that you treat any human being. That goes without saying. But to say I'm going to sit there and talk to them, I don't even know if they'll understand what the hell I'm saying. And so to waste that time and waste that energy, it's just not enough time in the game to worry about that. It's so many less possessions, so many, so many other things going on that I need to focus on. I don't know the FIBA game like I know the NBA game. So I quite frankly can't even sit there and argue a call unless it's like a basic foul, because some of the rules are just different and we be figuring them out on the fly. Yeah. And so if anything, I'm sitting there asking like, hey, what about this? Like, what? Can you do this? Can you do that? And saying, do they know who I am? I'm sure most referees who's probably roughing the games probably watch the NBA. It's the greatest league in the world. So do they know who I am? Possibly, but it really doesn't matter. We're here to compete for a gold medal, and that's what it boils down to. That's what it's all about.
And over your international experience, you've had plenty of beefs and whatever's, discussions on the floor with plenty of opponents. You are not trying to meet friends in the NBA. Has there been a player that you guys initially looked side-eyed with Team USA because you guys maybe didn't like each other, but formed a friendship or were cool or played cards together or had some type of bond when you guys actually got to know each other?
You're saying, is there someone on our team?
Team USA.
No. There may be some guys from some other country that all of us really don't like, but we'll keep that amongst ourselves. But there was no one here that I didn't like. I think there are guys here that we're all getting to know each other, and you're learning more and more about each other. But I don't think there's no one here that I didn't like or get along with.
And has this experience allowed you to have kind of chop it up more with Kevin?
Yeah, we're around a lot, and we're very familiar with each other. And we've won a lot together. So that familiarity, of course, allows you to chop it up a bit more. But it's not like, we needed this time to chop it up. Like, no, we've chopped it up quite a bit before this. So,
Thank you.
I got to roll in like 2 minutes, though, because the 3-on-3 game about to start. So,
Joe, we'll finish up with you.
Draymond, they play you with Dame, and they run some of the actions that you and Steph run on the Warriors. So I was just wondering, how similar is it to play with those two guys?
It's very fun because I know if I crack his guy, he come off and light the other team up. So it's very fun. It's a very familiar situation for me to be in. Quite frankly, one that I enjoy and look forward to continuing to exploit as he gets more comfortable with me, as I get more comfortable with him. Quite frankly, you can't replace the 9 years of experience that Steph and I have together. But we have played against each other a ton. I know his strengths. He knows my strengths. And we like to play off those. And, they've produced some good moments for us along the way in Vegas, and they'll continue to get better because the familiarity will continue to grow. So I think it's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for, Coach Pop and staff, Coach Kerr, Coach Wright, LP, to know that we can go to this, and that's a very familiar situation for both of those guys.